Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Respected viewers and dear students, Assalamu alaikum. And this is a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, according to the place you live in this world. I welcome you in this new module, and this is very much related with the motivation and coaching skills with a special reference to leadership. Okay. In this session, we are going to talk about different plans, and that is the you can say explain the leader's role in employee engagement, identify and describe leadership skills linked to the expectancy theory, very important, and then what do you mean by the concept of goal theory, then describe how leaders can motivate others through recognition, understand the characteristics of coaching and how to practice coaching skills and techniques, and finally describe how executive coaches help enhance leadership skills. Leadership and employee engagement. So the first question arises, are we really sure that these two variables or these two concepts or ideas are very much closely related to each other? Yes. Why? Because if you are very much engaged in your work, and if it is fostered by the leaders of your department or institution, definitely you are going to perform far much better, especially than those people who are not engaged in their work. Although they are involved, but they are not engaged. Remember, the involvement is the, you can say, cognition or you can say the cognitive part of employee engagement. So in short, employee engagement is a multi-dimensional construct. The first one is the cognitive oriented part, that is the employee job involvement. So first stage is you are going to psychologically involve, and then you are going to engage in a particular kind of work. So effective leaders are outstanding motivators and coaches, we strongly believe. Why is that so? Because at a number of times, if you would like me to give a very good example, that leaders simply give you the scenarios, and as a result you automatically are pulled by your leaders. But when we talk about the managers are responsible to complete the task on stipulated time. That's why most of the cases you observe that they push you. The difference is leaders pull, managers push the task. A broad purpose of leaders applying motivation and coaching techniques is to get employees involved in their work, and in fact they need to get their job, or you feel that they are very much excited what exactly they do in the organization. For example, I am a faculty member, for example, in a public sector university, and I don't like my job, or in other words, I do like my job, but the problem is I'm not very much involved in my talk, in my studies, in my research skills, or in my, you can say, course content development, or in any kind of activities which is assigned by the departmental heads. I'm not involved, I'm not engaged in it. So is it possible for me to perform? No. And as a result, after a certain period of time, as soon as my performance, the lower performance is witnessed or noticed by the top management, I need to face the music. So the central idea is that the employees, as long as the employees are involved, engaged in their job, definitely the overall performance at individual level, later on a team level or group level, and ultimately at the organizational level may be experienced or observed. And as a result, if collectively they are going to enhance their core competence of the institution, definitely you may ensure the competitive advantage. Okay, and as a result, if you are going to get it sustained for a longer period of time, definitely you must need to identify a number of questions. If you would like to sustain your competitive advantage, for example, in which particular market that you are competing against your rivals. Similarly, what are your core competencies? What are your assets based on which you could claim your competitive advantage or sustain it? What are the core competencies you have, and so on and so forth. As well as it's very, very important to answer the product market selection too in order to sustain your competitive advantage. And above all, it is very, very important to have a good, you can say, customer value composition or proposition in terms of your value chain, in terms of your disseminating the value, in terms of curbing your cost. I'm talking about with reference to overall low cost leadership type of strategy. So in all of the situation, in order to satisfy the departmental objective, in order to satisfy the you can say SBU level or division level objective, or if you have only single business organization, so if you would like to ensure that the overall organizational objective or annual objective are met, it is very, very important to ensure that your subordinate, they are very much engaged in their job. So a number of times you might have this kind of confusion that people are committed, but they are not engaged. In some other scenario, people are engaged, but they are not committed. So which specific concept is very much important? What is your opinion about that? Do you think being committed in an organization context is important or more important than being engaged, and vice versa? Okay, good, thank you very much. In this scenario, that being engaged is very, very important. For example, I arrive in my job, around you can say 9 a.m. in the morning, and I leave my job at 5 p.m. but I'm not very much engaged in the task. I simply complete my hours. And a number of times in the developing countries, you might have witnessed these kind of words that look busy, do nothing, these kind of scenario. Look busy, but do nothing. This is a kind of scenario in which you confront with the scenario with the type of people who are not very much engaged in the task. So employee engagement refers to the commitment workers make to their employer. Okay. So this is the level of degree of extent of commitment from the subordinate, from the employees towards the employer. So leaders use motivation and coaching techniques to help keep employees engaged. Very quickly, a number of time in your fundamental courses of management, you have learned this expectancy theory and motivational skills. I'm not going to give you a complete detail on it, but it's very, very important to understand that if you would like to motivate your subordinates so that the person is going to get engaged in their work, it is very, very important that when you ask them to engage, they are going to have some expectancy for that. So according to Victor Rome, it is you can say very much common. The expectancy theory has different levels. The first one is the expectancy level, the second one is instrumentality level, and the third one is the valence level. For further details, you may go to that particular book which is given in the footnote of this particular screen. Okay, now this is very interesting. Starting from the left hand side, the subordinates, they do some efforts. You ask somebody, okay, go and get yourself engaged in that particular kind of team activity, and they are putting their lots of efforts. Whenever your subordinates, it is very, very important to ponder that whenever your subordinate, they are making any efforts towards a particular direction or towards a particular task, definitely side by sides, somehow maybe in low extent or maybe in high extent, maybe low degree or high degree, expectancy will be there. Okay, efforts in a right direction, definitely it is going to observe in a type of individual task performance, in-role performance or extra-role performance. So in that situation, your performance is highly influenced by two things. Number one, a number of times we discussed that the boundary conditions, the environmental factor. How, for example, you would like to perform, but number of departmental people, they want you not to perform, because if you are going to perform in a high direction, in a very good note, definitely you will have a very good relationship with your superiors, and as a result a standard will be set for rest of the people in your department, and as a result if they are not going to perform and only you are performing in the department, definitely the manager, the top management, they are going to catch those people. If this particular person can perform, then why you are unable to perform? Okay, the first thing is the environmental aspect. Similarly, the politics or a number of you can say positive or negative antecedents for that. But exactly at that particular time, you can see that the ability of the individual is extremely important. For example, the environmental factors are very conducive for learning, but I do not know how to learn. A number of time in my school life, in my university or college life, in higher studies, a number of time I used to be the dependent on somebody else. So in case I did not learn how to learn, so as a result, learning by doing concept, which was given by, you can say 1928 from the, you can see the first Italian physician, that was Dr. Maria Montessori. You can recognize the concept of Montessori schooling system. So that the learning by doing. If you're reluctant to learn by doing, then definitely you are not going to learn after a certain period of time. So as an individual, if you have wasted, you means the number of audience, if you have wasted, I'm very blunt on using these words, if you have witnessed, if you believe, strongly believe that yes, you have wasted majority of your academics time without improving your learning, so it's never too late. It's a good opportunity for you to please learn, discuss your ideas and communicate different ideas and engage yourself in a particular self-directed thing. Besides, if you are unable to identify or set different direction for you, it is also very important to seek assistance from somebody else who are senior than you. So when you are going to perform, you would like to have that your performance should be instrumented by the rewards. Okay, so as a result, you have some outcome, one outcome and maybe multiple outcomes. So when you have the expectancy because of your efforts, because you are performing, so as a result, you have the instrumentality that your efforts will be instrumented with some kind of rewards. Okay, expectancy and this instrumentality. Your efforts will be rewarded. In simple words, your efforts will be rewarded. Okay, in majority of the cases, instrumentality we have understood, but the rewards that we got, it does not, you can say, suffice our need. We were expecting something big. For example, I'm working in a marketing department and I brought a very, you can say, very expensive, very high rate of, you can say, marketing order for my department, and as a result, a number of people, they are getting benefit out of it just because of that order that I brought into the organization by virtue of my personal contacts, for example. And in return, what exactly I got? Although my performance was rewarded, I received the appreciation letter, I received some amount cash rewards too, but this is far much less than what exactly I was expecting. So exactly at that particular point in time, another theory put into place or come into place, that is the equity theory. So three things we talked about: the very bottom level, expectancy. If you would like your people to be engaged, they should be having some kind of expectancy. Expectancy should lead to, or normally it tends to lead towards instrumentality, and the central idea is your efforts will be rewarded. And the last one is the valence, means the attractiveness or worth of an outcome in terms of reward should at least approximately, you can say, close to your expectations. Another concept, that is the goal theory. This is very much related with motivating the employees in terms of engagement. The basic central idea is that behavior is regulated by values and goals. These values are of two types. The first one is the terminal values, the second one is instrumental values. The terminal values is the ultimate values, and instrumental values are those things which actually help you in achieving your terminal objectives or terminal values. So a goal, values, you understand these things. So the values are very much, you can say, directive towards improving your performance, maybe a specific, maybe sometimes values may be very hard or realistic, and so on and so forth. At that particular point in time, the basis of this goal theory is, you can say, the learning. If you are very much adaptive towards learning, if you know that in case in some initial circumstances you are not in a position to enhance your learning, but still you are very much concentrated, and if you are very much serious towards improving or enhancing or optimizing your learning, sooner or later you are going to succeed in it. Okay, so respected viewers, so far we talked about the different motivational aspects in terms of engagement, particularly with reference to the, you can say, leadership. So far we talked about that the leaders, they have got very important and essential role in motivating their all stakeholders in the organizations. For example, if the customers, you have a very high rate of customers, but if you have a compare and contrast with the present level of customer with the previous year's customers, and you would like to get it measured that do you have a very high rate of retained customers, yes or no. So for this you must need to motivate your managers to a particular direction. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope we learned something in this session. In another session we are going to explore with some new knowledge, with some new, you can say, courses of action, with new examples of different industry context. Thank you very much. I wish you love, light and happy, you can say, everything. Okay, thank you.